Chaos.
Volta Chaos indeed. And trust me, Nathan, it is chaotic sometimes.
I bet. I like your shirt. I like it how it matches the paintings.
Yeah, I sometimes I'm black, sometimes I'm super colorful.
I like color. What kind of shirt is it?
Oh, thanks for asking. I love Robert Graham. Are you familiar with him?
Not so much.
Yeah, Robert Graham's a great designer, and I'm not into the foo-foo stuff by no means. I just go to the outlet down here in Vegas and pick up
foo-foo stuff.
Well, like super high end, like super expensive shirts. So I get like nice Robert Graham shirts for like 75% off down at the outlet store.
You're not all Gucci'd out.
Yeah. So he's a great designer, Robert Graham. Mm-hmm.
You see Rusty at all here and there?
Yeah, you know what? He moved back into Seth's house, and
oh, great!
So I've been running into him a little bit, and
thanks so much.
Dude, he's so funny. He's all sober now.
Oh yeah, I've seen him a couple times.
Yeah, he's stoked though because he bought my boy Gus's little Chinooks.
Hey, Herbie himself.
Hey,
Dad. Man of the hour.
Long time no see.
Well,
what's up?
How you doing, Dana?
Good. How you been, bud?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Still around.
Yeah, I'm still cruising too. Wife's still putting up with me and the whole deal, you know.
You got kids?
Yeah. I got 2 kids. I got with my son. It's his birthday today. I think he's 28 now or something.
You got adults.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did the whole thing like you, raised 2 kids in the middle of the chaos, you know.
Yeah,
but all good.
Yeah, you're still going.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I play with.
Hi, Nathan.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, are you in Hawaii, Nate?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. How's Hawaii?
Nice, mellow, real nice, real mellow, beautiful. Just cruising. The kids are at school and everything's good.
Yeah, you got 2 kids now, right, Nate?
I do.
Yeah, how you like that? How you like that whole deal?
It's been the best so far. I couldn't ask for more. They're good kids. They're 2 boys.
Isn't it rad? It's like.
And I wish I would have had them earlier, I guess, because I feel pretty old for how young they are. But I don't know. I wouldn't have had it any other way, I guess.
Right. It's crazy, huh?
I'm going to move this weird thing behind me so I don't look like a total fag.
Nathan, make sure you speak about your kids during the show and see if they're getting into surfing and stuff.
Oh, they do it all. They'll do it all. Laser burned the shit out of himself on his motorcycle, so we sold that.
Oh, my God. Dang.
So he sold that. Get him a bigger one. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Right?
Yeah, it's just. Where's John? Oh, it's only 12 now. There he is. Look at.
Yeah, he's usually gone right about this time.
Project management. He's coming in, huh?
Yeah, free lag, dude. He's still on the free lag tour.
That's cool.
He's still not good. He's like Zabo when it comes to technology. You know what I mean?
Oh God, me too. I see Zabo's posts sometimes.
Yeah, Zabo's nuts, man. He's all mountain bike guy, so he thinks he can huck like he used to huck, you know. So
and he breaks. He still breaks just like he used to break, though.
Yeah, dude. He breaks. I mean, I finally got broke off at I did my tib and fib. I had a pretty good blowout finally, but slowed me down a little bit.
I broke my femur. It was pretty hectic as well.
Oh, yeah, that's no fun at all.
Yeah, especially in the water, trying to get to the beach is fucked.
Yeah, I never did the water. I'm not.
Is that him?
No, John yet. Let me reach out to him and see where he's at. Let me give him a call.
Yeah, he's not very punctual, huh?
John Freeman. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
I moved it the wrong way.
Okay. What'd you move, Dad?
You got the surfboards in there.
How's Christian doing?
He's good. He's got his GSXR 1000. He's fucking on the gas.
Oh shit, he's riding a fucking two-wheeler right now.
Oh yeah, probably as we speak.
Oh shit, yeah. I haven't rode on the street in a while.
He cruises at 120.
Yeah, I used to do that. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, he hasn't changed. That's all. It's like
He's still full stick, huh?
yeah, he gets to LA in 25 minutes from down south.
Oh shit.
And he was all stoked on COVID because the roads were empty.
Oh yeah, during COVID it was amazing. It was
He said it was like a racetrack, a 4-lane racetrack everywhere you went.
Yeah, everybody was freaked out. Like I loaded up the trailer and the camper and the UTV, and we went out to the desert. We went to Dumont, went all over the place, and it's like I felt guilty because you just any time of the day the roads are open, everything's all fucking wide open. Everybody's all locked up in their pad, you know.
We got the camera.
People were crazy. They believed the hype.
Oh, I know. People flipped out in California. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Over here it's shut down, but
it's not on yet.
You couldn't go to the beach. You could be in the water though, so you'd have to run across the beach. Hey, Mom.
Hi. How's it going?
Yeah,
oh, look at Freelag. Hey, nice to join us, Freelag.
I just came to say hi.
You're just in time to
hi,
say
Debbie.
Hi. How's it going?
Been a long time. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So do good, you guys.
Thank you.
Right.
That was
Herbie.
here. That was so nice. Thank you.
Hey, John.
Hey, guys.
Hey, welcome to the podcast, Free Dog.
Yeah. Everybody all set up?
Yeah,
We're all ready.
Shut up.
We've been live for half an hour, dog. Where you been?
I don't know about a half
Doing my
hour,
homework. Got all my notes here.
Rock and roll, rock and roll.
All right. Let's start recording, and then as soon as the video stops, you know what to do, John. Okay, you'll take it away.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Wait, he's playing it.
All right, John, feel free to take it away. I'll introduce this week's guest.
All right. So we have myself, John Freeman, my partner, Dana Nicholson. We are co-creators of Crusty Demons. We were involved back in the day with the Fletcher family back in surfing, snowboarding, motocross. And our special guests here are Herbie Fletcher, the legend, and Nathan Fletcher, his younger son, and brother to Christian Fletcher. So good to have the Fletcher family on, and welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah. So it's been a while, Herbie. So maybe just to kick it off, Herbie, you're where in San Clemente?
Yeah, I'm down here in San Clemente next to Trestles.
Okay.
This is where Christian and Nathan grew up, you know, and ventured out in the world from here. It's sort of it's a great surf spot, you know, for California. It's probably one of the best.
Yeah.
If not the best.
Hey, Herbie, I gotta chime in here. For the last 2 weeks, ever since we've been talking about this podcast, dude, I can't. I just gotta go off on this tangent. I can't stop thinking about my old jet ski back in the day, because back when Damien and I were snowboarders and we first met yourself and Nathan and Christian, you sponsored us for Astrodeck. And back in that time, we went down and we saw you down there, and we went to the Astrodeck factory, and you had the Astrodeck tray for the jet ski. I had one.
Yeah.
I had a stand-up jet ski, and you hooked me up with one of those things, and it was the coolest. It was the coolest fucking thing I ever got. Like back in those days, like I didn't even care about the snowboard. I was so pumped on the jet ski, but I just can't get the first impression of back in those days was you on the stand-up jet ski riding in front of the most massive wave that I've ever seen.
Oh, I was just having fun, but yeah, I made a whole lot of Astrodeck for padding and cushion, because it was pretty radical with all the big waves, and you had to have some cushioning on those landings because you jump like I don't know, 15, 20 feet in the air and come down and you'd sink under the water about a foot underwater. So you wanted a lot of cushion. And so, yeah, I was really stoked on performance and seeing you guys, jumping in the air and landing and, taking it. You and Damien, at the Varney jump. I forget what they were called.
The Varney Air Show.
The vertical.
Yeah, they were unreal.
Yeah.
And I took Nathan up there and Christian to and we started snowboarding.
That was the day
But we made
started.
I worked with Jake Burton on the stomp pad, just so when you got off the chairlift, you had something to put your foot on that you didn't slip off your board and,
Yeah. Well, I think
fall on your ass so much.
Nathan, I think that's when we first met you. I think me and Damien were riding in the half pipe, and we met you guys like at, I think it was Summit or something like that.
Yeah, it was the vertical hair show.
Yeah, and we would put the grab rails. I still have some of those. Like I saved the special ones for the special board, and we would put them, where we do the stalefish and the backside airs. We would line our boards, as grab rails.
Yeah. I remember that. That was so much fun. Yeah. And then I made a surfboard for whoever won the competition, and Damien won that year. It was pretty rad. So he got a brand new surfboard. He was all happy. But yeah, I remember making all that stuff for everybody, and you guys got me into snowboarding.
Yeah, I remember the first day not the first day, but one of the first times snowboarding, we went to meet you guys. I think it was at Mount Rose, and it was with Sonny Miller, and it was you and Zabo and Damien, and I want to say Dave Sione.
Yeah,
Steve Graham was there too.
Steve Graham and Zabo.
Well, if you remember that trip, it started out at Snow Valley, and we were filming with these dudes from Hard Copy, and I put the lens through the camera. One of the camera dudes moved, and then you guys were like, "Well, let's go to Tahoe," and then we all pinned it to Mount Rose.
Yeah.
From there, and yeah, and what about Sonny Miller? We'll have to get into Sonny Miller because how is that for a legend? You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was a true legend, and it was sad to see him go. And the worst part about it was he was taking care of his mom because I made a film with Sonny, and so I got to know him pretty well in the later years for Quicksilver. And his mom had dementia, and so he took her everywhere. And then she had passed away, and then 2 days later, he died of a heart attack.
Oh, my God. I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah, it was so weird. He was such a nice
guy. I didn't know that timeline. Wow.
Yeah, he died of a broken heart, actually, I think.
Man.
Which was terrible. But,
yeah.
Well, yeah, he was right there for a lot of things, though, I feel like. Sonny was definitely right in...
Well, he was the first one that ever got me a shot in the magazine back when we used to go to Mountain High with Jim Alisi and Sonny and Zabo and Damien back then, and like he was our first guy that ever got us published. And like first time I ever left the country was with Sonny. I went to Japan with Sonny, and yeah, he is just freaking amazing.
Yeah, he ran with a lot of legends: surfing, skating, snowboarding. the whole way through.
Yep. We
And
love
what
that
about-
guy.
Yeah, I was even
we hung out with
talking
him quite a bit. Yep.
Well, do
I
you
was
remember
He was
that?
always around. He liked the action.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loved getting in the water photography, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. That
Yeah, I
was
remember
funny.
that. I remember that session at Mount Rose. I was thinking about that because people were talking about it with all this snow that we have this year, and yeah, I'll never forget that we went out and built up those hits back there. That was a pretty good session back then.
I filmed that. I filmed that session, and it was really great because when we first got there, all you guys jumped off the
bridge or
the
something.
bridge. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
You just jumped off the bridge in a big pile of snow, and I'm just going, "Fuck, man!"
Yeah, we used to jump off a lot of shit.
Yeah,
But we
still jumping, right, Dana?
Now, why I did my tib and fib. I exploded my tib and fib doing a little duel with Damien. Thought we were all fucking pro again, and it didn't work out. So I could still jump, but I can't land very good.
There you go.
The landings are iffy. You know what I mean? I can't come up short. So
I can't jump anymore.
yeah. No, the only thing I
I
jump is my race truck. I jump my truck. That's about it.
You got a big seat, right?
Yeah, it's got big shocks.
I was talking to John, and I was recollecting about in Alaska when you guys had crashed the helicopter on that little bubble helicopter. I think it was in what, 92 or something?
Something like that. Yeah, that was fucked up, huh? Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were both there. Christian was there too.
I remember that Andy Brewer crashed in the plane, and I was giving him, I'm like, fuck, you crashed the plane without me. And then the next day, we crashed in that fucking helicopter thing.
But then
And you guys just slid down the mountain?
Well, we pulled the seat out, and we kind of, like, I pulled my snowboard from the wreckage, but we pulled the seat out for the pilot, and he kind of slid out down it on that. And the weirdest thing was on the way to Alaska, I took a fucking life insurance policy out on myself at LAX in the airport. I like that one.
So after we had that crash, Herbie and Nate, so we had to figure out how to get that pilot down because everybody else bailed. They thought, those guys are doing, foofter, shots for double Ozabo or
ass split.
Yeah. So we ended up getting the guy down maybe about 1,000 vertical feet and using his seat as a toboggan, and me and Dana are the snowboard brakes behind this guy. So we get down to the bottom there, and if you guys remember that pass that's down there, yeah, we weren't quite to the heli place, and we weren't quite to the town, so we were in between.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple of guys standing on the side of the road. You don't see too many cars going into town from there. And so I'm standing there with a gun and a snowboard. And the pilot's standing there with a seat, and Dana's standing there with like his twin turbo hairdo and the whole thing. And the car that comes up, they're like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Not picking these guys up.
Yeah, that was funny.
Not look good. Yeah.
Yeah, those were good times. Good times.
Yeah,
I
now
had a great trip there. We'd go up on the Cat when it was snowing, but we just hitchhike back, to where the Cat was, because people would pick you up. They were pretty cool about that.
Yeah.
But they didn't have any avalanche control, no guides or nothing. Remember, you'd buy the little chip for $25, and then we had the pilot Chet, who was just absolutely crazy.
Well, Chet had avalanche control. It's called a 45.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Don't get out of line.
That's what he shot the dog with on the runway. Actually, that was in the way.
Oh, really?
Dude, Chet left us in the books for hours. We almost spent the night in the books one time. Like, they say, oh, don't go out there unless you're going to spend the night. We didn't have none of that fucking gear.
He picked us up, though. He pulled it.
No, the airplane came in. It was
that was the
airplane came in.
Beaver. The Beaver.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look at all that footage, man, because that was crazy.
Hey, when we do
Yeah.
this documentary, Herb, that we're trying to do, we'll have to get into all this shit because there's so many untold stories, right? What
God, I
about?
was going through that big cave. Um, I forget if it was a helicopter or a plane that took us over there, but you had to go down the mountain through a big cave, an ice cave, right? It was all like green and unbelievable. It looked like jade inside there.
Yeah, Alaska's no joke, huh?
No, it wasn't no joke.
Okay, well,
But
what about?
nobody knew what they were doing though. That was the best part about it. It was like a free for all.
I'm
Like now,
We had to name the mountains.
yeah.
Did I
It's
remember
like,
when
What's it called? I don't know.
they would ask if you had an avalanche peeper on, and we would wear our Walkmans, and they would just fill your chest, thinking that you had the peeper right here. But we would just put our Walkmans right there and be like, "Oh, we're good. We got them." But we were so fucking stupid for going out there.
yeah, so dumb.
Well,
But
what?
that ignorance is bliss, though. That's how you get shit done. Is not knowing any better. Now they have all the rules and it costs all the money, and I don't know. It's
Oh,
good,
yeah.
but I feel like
Well, they take the fun out of it. They take the fun out of it. Hey, what
What
about?
was it, Nathan? It was like $25, wasn't it? Like
I swear it was something
you get
$25 for
maybe
the chip.
$25 for the beaver. Maybe it was like 50 for the heli, something like
I don't-
that. And you buy
yeah.
a chip. Yeah.
I don't even think it was that much for the
No,
heli.
it's
Hey, our biggest
25 for the
We're,
heli.
we're in the plains a lot.
Yeah.
mistake is we flew out of the bar with the pilot, right out of the bar in the helicopter.
Well, that's the one that we crashed.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good idea.
Well, hey Johnny, did you queue up some shots? Because I want to like the stand up stuff that Herbie used to do and the big dog stuff was so innovative before. You know what I mean? Like what they had those little X2 jet skis, but there was no type of like rescue jet ski back in the day, right, Herbie?
No, I was the first one, and
Uh-huh.
I got that around the time Nathan was born.
Okay. Let's
And then I
go.
got my first jet ski, and I just, we tested them out, and I was just so stoked. I always wanted a motorized surfboard, and so when the jet ski, they had us test them, we wrecked them all, but it was just the answer. I mean, I just couldn't even believe it. I was so stoked. I wanted to show everybody and have such a good time and tow people. I towed Christian when he was about 6 in the small surf, and then let him ride it one time, and he almost ran me over on the inside. But I finally got the thing to Hawaii in '81, and I was just so stoked to get out there. And so I rode it at Malaya, and that's the fastest wave in the world. It was just a freak swell that came up in November, which it's off season. But I was over there filming the sailboarders at Ho'okipa, and
Okay.
that was pretty cool. And then the surf came up and got a good day.
Yeah, real quick, Herbie.
Let's go to the Herbie folder and go to the one with the jet skiing.
Okay, real quick though, Herbie. When the jet skis, like we used to take ours down to Newport, and my buddy he made the jet ski movie, but like we used to go out and hit the waves and do jumps in the wave, and I get 10, 15 feet in the air and just jump right the fuck off. But like the stuff that, like, what gave you the idea to actually do the crap that you did on a jet ski in the surf? Like, that shit's gnarly. That's like, it's not even like you got issues on that stuff. You're gnarly.
Well, I sure had a good time. It was a lot of fun jumping around and riding waves. I could ride 100 waves. I could ride every way to the set.
Till you run out of gas.
You just saw it as a motorized surfboard, huh?
Sort of like a motorcycle, ripping
Motorcycle
up
on
waves
waves.
instead of the dirt.
A wet bike.
No, not a wet bike. Those suck.
Yeah, those sucked.
I had one.
Yeah.
The regular jet ski is the real ski, the jet ski.
Yeah, the stand
It was narrow, and it was the greatest design because I cut those things up and did all kinds of things with them. But for small waves, I cut the back and made the thing narrower so it sat down in the water, and so you'd never leave the water, so you could really turn hard in the face of the wave and not slide out. But in big waves, they would look hobby horse, and you didn't want to do that. You wanted to stay connected. And when it was narrow, it would suck down and then fly out on the next chop. But it worked really good in the face of waves because you could just carve and it would stay hooked up and you wouldn't slide out. But then my jumping ski, I put side fins about 2.5 feet long, like rails, and about 3 inches wide. So when I jumped, and I'd put them above the water line, but when I jump, I would it would cushion my landing, and so that was a big deal. And I'd cut off the back because you hit your tailbone on the side gunnel. But I padded all that stuff with different custom stuff. I had to make all that stuff. And so then Kawasaki saw that I was doing. They didn't like me, especially the logo. But they copied a lot of the things that I did, like the sponsons, when they put the sponsons on the sides of the gunnels, and it was just a different deal, and it was new. And then they came out with bigger, and then the wave runners came out, and the personal watercrafts got the big thing, and they used them in rescue. But I rescued a few people, and turned the Hawaiians onto it over there, riding waves and everything. They'd see it, and they got sponsored by Yamaha, which was a big deal because they could rush out and save somebody. So Terry Ohui was the lifeguard at the beach park and Pipeline.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me up one day and said, "Herbie, I just saved a guy's life. All I did was see a board tombstoning out there. And I rushed out there and pulled him up and gave him CPR on the ski, actually, and saved his life." But from what I understand, they bring him to the beach now before they do CPR because it's more stable. Anyway, it's a great tool to rescue people, and the lifeguards now have it tuned in, and you see the surf contest. There's always one on the side, always ready, and they got the blow up vest, and
yeah.
Well, how rad, Herbie? How rad?
You revolutionized something there, Herbie.
What'd you say, Dana?
I said you're the guy that revolutionized that for like countless lives that have been saved, and even the potential of where surfing has gone to with toe-ins and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're pretty much the guy on the forefront of all that shit.
I am the guy in the forefront.
Yeah, well, let's see the footage.
I'm calling it.
Let's see the footage.
Yeah, I wore a life vest, and so I'd come up because I'd go right outside logs and Pipeline when it's big, second reef, and big waves. But I had the power.
Can we see some of this stuff? And at the same time, is there a spot where you named, Herbie?
Windmills.
You named
Windmills.
Yeah, that was back in *66 on Maui.
Let's watch some Herbie, and you can just.
In fact, this is Windmills. It's taken from the cliff.
Oh, okay.
Herbie takes to the sea on his modified.
This Pipeline.
Blows minds.
That was the first time out at Pipeline.
Herbie's antics are incredible as he powers around pell-mell, speeding himself into positions and situations never before possible.
I love to go surfing in big
and
waves.
This is Malaya going about 40 miles an hour.
There it is.
Now I have this engine, and I take it.
Tube in the world.
The pipeline's closed out, and I go out. There's reefs on the outside, and I go in between them, and it's bizarre being out there all by yourself.
Badass, Herb.
Big mountains of water, and nobody knows where you are.
That's flying, huh?
Yeah. You can't do that on a surfboard.
No, if you
I'd
take
like to
off
put
right
it on
there.
a big day.
Can't go that fast.
Why? Without the help of his jet ski to get him out of harm's way, this sort of behavior would be considered suicidal. But it's this kamikaze attitude that makes him so much fun to watch.
Just hang on.
Yeah.
Now,
Is that
Herbie,
with the thinner tail
doing big
right
waves, one day decided to really get outrageous and tried to go for a surf at Waimea Bay. People were pretty surprised as he jetted off into the 20-foot surf, not quite sure what to think. But what followed is the
They were all sitting on the beach wanting me to eat shit.
books.
Guaranteed. No, they were sitting under the tree. It was closed out, and nobody wanted to go out, and so I just gave a show. Actually,
Taunting it,
it was a lot of fun. Nathan was there.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it did from the beach though. On these angles, they had the wrong angle, man, because it was.
That was a closed out wave.
Yeah, it looks they were on the wrong.
You're just hanging in there.
Yeah, I just hung on.
It was like a flag flapping in the wind.
How old were you then, Nate? Sitting on the beach.
I was about 9.
9.
We were sitting in the lifeguard tower with Jerry Lopez because Lopez got my dad. He was firing my dad up to go, and then he really wanted to see me eat shit. How could you not? And then I was scared I was tripping. You know, it just looked like death. And there was definitely a couple wipeouts that day. Well, Peter McGonigal, he was out, but then Scott Farnsworth had like a 2-wave hold down, and when he got to the beach, he was choking and coughing up water, and it was a full ordeal. In those days, you could pull right up on the side and look, or right down into the parking lot, but it's all kind of corrugated off now, or whatever they have, guardrails. But yeah, me and Jerry were sitting there, and Jerry was telling my dad, "Get your ski, come on, today's the day, blah, 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 you've been waiting for this." And then he was like, "I don't know, okay, well. And then it was, he got into it, and then went out and just amazed everybody. But the one set was like the biggest set of the day, that wave that you saw, or from what I remember, I was a kid, but as it came in, you could just see the whole thing stacking on the horizon, where you're like, oh, this one's exponentially bigger or gnarlier. And then he went out and did a U-turn on the thing and came in. And as he was coming in, it was like people were screaming the whole bay. It's like an arena. And you could hear the people yelling. And then it was like all of a sudden he started getting sucked back up the face because he went from the second reef outside where it was all slopey into the inside. And when he got sucked up the face, you couldn't tell from the beach. He has probably a better story to tell, but all of a sudden he got to the one spot and he took back off down the face, and that's when he fell off or hit bumps, and he didn't let go, and it was like he was dragging, boom, and the white water exploded, and then he disappeared, and everybody was like, oh, like, that one sound when it goes silent, oh, and then he was gone for maybe a second or 2 seconds. And then when he came out of the white water, it was like a rock concert. The whole bay erupted. Everybody cheered, like screaming, ah! And it was kind of like the thrill of victory is what I remember being like. And then when he came to the beach, because he rode it all the way straight in up the beach. And none of this is legal now. You couldn't do any of this anywhere on the North Shore. But he gets to the beach and gets off, and he's like, oh, man, my balls are so bruised. From hanging on, the jet hits you right in the balls on the stand-up, right, if you're flapping behind it.
Oh yeah.
So it was full blast. That's how I recall it.
That was a great day. It was a big day. Nobody had ever ridden it that way, but riding the ski on those big waves gave a lot of freedom to the surfers, because the rescue, but you could check out the waves on the outside, which you could never check out before. And now look what they're riding. They're riding, waves twice that big, at least. I mean, they're riding giant waves. It's incredible what they're riding now. And they got the rescue, they got the vest and all that. In that wave, I didn't even have a vest on. But Peter Cole said it was the biggest wave ever ridden at the time.
Man, I remember that shit from back in the day. I remember those images, and like as a pro snowboarder, like we used to look up to you like, fuck, Herbie's gnarly. Like we thought we were crazy snowboarders, but we didn't want nothing to do with that shit.
Well, it was new. Now, God, I remember a time when I'd just gotten over a broken knee, a snowboard injury. I took out a tree, and it's just healing, right?
He
It
took
just
out the tree. The tree didn't move though.
Yeah, right.
I broke the tree, in fact, with my leg. But anyway, my leg healed, my knee healed, and everything. So I'm in Hawaii. I just get there, right, and I cruise by Nathan's house, and there's a truck there with the hood open, and I'm looking at it. I'm parked across the street, and then finally he pops his head around the hood and goes, "Hey, Dad! Hey, Dad! Hey, hey, can you tow me in?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And it was
We're
about
stuck
30
in
feet
traffic.
at Alligators. You know, it's just west of Waimea, and it was a giant day. And he gives me the ski that has a hole in the side about the size of a golf ball,
A quarter.
but it's above the water line. And so he goes, "Oh, you can do it. You can do it." So anyway, he talked me into going out there and towing him in, and I kept the ski above the with the hole above the water line, towed him around. I told him, "Hey, when this thing starts filling up with water, I'm going to the beach." Anyway, he got a couple waves, but this one Brazilian guy just went over the fall so gnarly, and then the jet ski came in to pick him up with the guy with the camera,
Yeah.
and because there was two skis, they're wave runners. Anyway, he got sucked up over the
both-
falls and really ate shit, man. It was gnarly.
Yeah.
But
They were both done.
when he was pulling the guy, he pulled the guy and stayed in the wave, and the guy was behind him, ate shit, and the ski tried to kick out. And as the ski went up, it went over the falls and over the surfer.
Oh, jeez.
It was pretty crazy. It was big.
Yeah, I can't fathom.
Isn't that in one of the movies? Seems like I've seen something like
I
that.
think I put it in a movie. Yeah, I had a friend filming it from the top of the hill. You remember that day, Nathan?
Me, yeah, I remember it. It was '98, and yeah, we were at Hank's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were stuck in traffic or something. I looked out, and you just so happened to be passing by.
Yeah, I did. I just parked and looked. I was looking for you. I should have kept driving. No, it was a pretty exciting day.
Yeah.
Hey,
Herb, I'm gonna have hey Maestro, play the Astrodeck one with a collage of pictures, and Herbie, you can kind of tell us about back in these days, and you can relive it right here.
Hey, real quick before you play this, I have a question because we'll probably see Christian in here, I imagine. Before we get into like
you're gonna see every good surfer in the world back then,
right?
Little demo, yeah.
Well, like as another,
okay, let's just call you back. I'm doing a podcast.
And a first off, I feel like when we were back in the pro snowboard days, Christian was so far ahead of his time in surfing that he got the short end of the stick. Like he was absolutely insane on a surfboard, but people didn't even understand it. You know what I mean? So let's roll your thing, Maestro, but let's chime back in on that.
Well, Nathan could talk about that too. He was right there in the thick of things.
Right. Well, then we got to talk about Nathan's ass. I see him popping up on some 500-story wave. That's a whole other riddle.
Yeah.
But yeah, go ahead and play, and then we'll get into that stuff.
Yeah, those were all fun days doing ads and, taking photos and making new Astrodeck for everybody and working with everybody in their feet and rock and roll. Man, we're into rock and roll.
Yeah. You got a lot of guys that went number one in the world right now.
Yeah, covered the world with Astrodeck.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, like with Christian doing the airs was like you know what I mean, was the Astrodeck concept kind of a part of that, or was the jet ski stuff before the surfboard stuff? Like,
No, I was a surfer, from when I was 10 years old. And I made surfboards. I made surfboards in Hawaii. Developed the minigun with Gary Chapman and Brewer and Henson and myself. We experimented a lot, down rails, did a lot of things. Even brought back longboard surfing in the 70s with the Thrill Is Back. But doing the Astrodeck, more traction in the action, right? And I went skateboarding. I was one of the guys who skated the first pools. It was a burnt down ranch in Stanton, and we skated this pool. We had to make our own skateboards. I put clay wheels on the first. I was the first one to put clay wheels on a skateboard, but Christian was there and Nathan was there, and they go to the skate park and they were doing airs, and they were skateboarders, and surfers. And so Christian started riding his skateboard on the water, and they helped me a lot. Christian and Nathan. Nathan was really a big influence on Astrodeck, and he worked with he'd surf with Michael Ho and all these great guys that you see in those ads. And he was a little designer, and we did the Thrasher pad with Michael Ho, which was like a half moon on the tail, and it was raised up. But being a skateboarder and going to the skate parks, Christian wanted something more leverage back there.
yeah.
And so we put a bigger kick, and so they could use it. And then I worked with Glenn Winton on the arch bar. We just started sticking pro strips. They were about this. They were a little over an 1/8 inch, 3/16 of an inch thick. Anyway, we stacked them on top of each other and made an arch bar.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kids played a big part because I wasn't a performance surfer like those guys in the early days in my teens and early 20s. Yes, but then I moved back to California, put Christian in school, and get started making surfboards. So the kids grew up and they were into performance surfing, and so Christian started doing airs. He jumped around, and I'd make him ride longer boards to smooth out his style. But he liked to go fast and pop airs, and Nathan did all that stuff. But I think he wanted to surf more like Tommy Carroll and do heavy cutbacks and little stalls and ride the tube, but he did all the aerials as well. Still doing them.
Hey, Maestro, let's go to on the Herbie folder. Let's go to the number 3.
Well,
that was right after the Astrodeck.
Hey, I'll tell you, back in the day, as a snowboarder, like, we thought Christian was just so far advanced, it was ridiculous, and we couldn't understand how he didn't get the props. You know what I mean? Like me and Damien, we tried to surf, but we couldn't. We had no understanding of the tube. We sucked.
No, well, in my opinion, though, growing up being Christian's brother, there was two words that really, like, defined who Christian was, and in my opinion, that was supernatural. He was by far tapped into something that nobody else really is, and it was just something that he has that's different, and it's some weird X factor. And the reason I know this is because certain things I've seen him do with my own eyes, being 5 years younger than him. But one, when we were little kids on BMX bikes, I was 6 years old. He was like 11. I might have been 7 and him 12. But him doing a backflip on his BMX bike off just a little dirt jump in the lot across the street from our house. And he did it twice in a row. And there was just so many instances where he was, like, he got run over by a car, and the car drove up his leg and then it reversed up his leg and then drove back off, and, like, it didn't hurt him. Somehow he, like, slid away. But just certain things like that.
I never heard that.
So far gone.
That's something you don't tell Dad. Yeah.
Well,
but that transcended into his surfing, and the real reason I think he was doing airs is because my dad, he would take us to the Big O, and it would be me and my brother and Jason Jesse, and we'd go to the skate park, and I was just little. I was nowhere near my brother or Jason, but Christian skated really well at the time, and my dad would be telling us it's all about airs. Look at what the guys are doing, and when we'd go to the skate park, you would see guys like Dwayne and this and that, and Christian could ollie over the channel in the capsule bowl, and it was just the very beginning of those times or whatever. And surfing, it hadn't got there yet, and so he had a good visualization of what was happening, like at Del Mar and the Keyhole, and what different guys, what Hosoi was doing, what these people were doing, and he could feel it. But he could surf good enough to where once he could cross that over, that was really the only thing on his mind, was like going big and going kind of into the future. Just like when in snowboarding, before guys did, like, they just did a backflip, and then Cardiel did the spinning flip, and then it was like the rodeo flip, just to where now everything's like a spinning flip or whatever. And so in my opinion, it was similar to those kinds of times, but it was in surfing. Nobody knew what an ollie was. Nobody knew what a method was. Nobody knew any of these things. And Christian already knew all those things, and then he learned how to do them on his skateboard, and then across, because you were skating, Bert, at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Going to the skate parks, and that's what was crossing over into snowboarding. And so people were doing method off a straight jump or like a stale fish, where, like skiers didn't see any of that. And then in surfing, the surfers had never seen anything like that. They didn't really know until he started doing it, and then they started paying attention. But it was like they didn't know really what a McTwist was, or a 540, or the difference in any of these different maneuvers. And so nobody even knew what the names of the stuff he was doing. And
you know what the difference?
It also drove him crazy in a sense, but I really feel that he had something supernatural, and then was tapped into skateboarding and snowboarding, and surfing was so far behind in technical maneuvers at that time that he was just adapting and the progression. And now people are like, oh, he's the best. But at the time, they're like, oh, he's not surfing. Look at his style. He can't do this or that, but he could. And so it's just interesting. And then these other people kind of capitalized on it because they stayed with the conformist side of the sport, and they said what they were supposed to say and looked how they were supposed to look. And once people didn't really acknowledge it, he just took it even more the other way. It was like, fuck you all the way to the fullest extent. But if you loved him, then you loved him, So you could go to the end of the earth, like who knows where, in some weird place in Japan, and you got a Christian Fletcher fan. Or you go to Australia into the outback, you find people, they know who Christian Fletcher is. It's crazy where it didn't I don't know. It stuck worldwide, but it never caught on to the mainstream. He never hit the mainstream, but there's these diehard people that all believe and praise him. And
that's probably right when we met you guys.
Oh yeah, it was in the highlight.
Like waist high
to
me and Dana.
Well, what I've always
hair, a little towhead, and then we knew Christian, and I think that's you're describing the era that I think we came out and you guys started snowboarding with us on some adventures up by Palmer's house and this and that. Probably local mountains. Yeah.
You know what I always trip? Hey, here's what I always trip on with Christian was, like, he's the one surfer in my eyes that was like a natural, like a McGrath or like a Pastrana. Like, he could do anything he wanted to, and he could land on the board half cocked, twisted, this or that, and just gracefully like ride out of it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of that was like what I always saw. He had like the natural flow to do basically whatever he wanted to do on a surfboard.
He could imagine it and think it and then do it. And,
yeah,
and it was.
And that's what it really pissed off the mainstream people because they didn't know what he was doing, or they couldn't do it. Right? They couldn't do it.
Well,
they didn't even get it.
They didn't understand it.
Like, if you look back,
and I made movies, so I don't know. A lot of people got jealous of all that stuff.
Why
it changed surfing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, when we went through like all that, and say we went through snowboarding, you guys met us as snowboarders. If you look at like snowboarding nowadays, like, I couldn't even hit one of the, like, all the jumps, everybody spins. No matter what you do, you have to spin a 900, a 1400, a 15,000. And if you really look at it, if you tell those guys just go down the mountain and do a straight jump, a lot of them can't just do a straight jump without spinning. You know what I mean? Like everything's designed different. Everything, all the parts are different from like it was. You know.
You know what I noticed too is a lot of people don't really ride their rails. Where before, like that was kind of a form of how good you were, is how you put it rail to rail and came into sections and like aired off the transition of a cat track, and then how you drew your lines. Where now it's kind of like they slip and go flat and slip, and then boom, they do something crazy off the hit. Where, and I felt like even when Brushy came out from the East Coast, and when he would just sharpen his rails, and how he would just hit like the crazy the ice, all this stuff at the local mountains, but how good he was on his rails, like his rail control, to where now you don't really see that. It's kind of more on like you're only judged on what you're doing in the air compared to like how hard you're turning and how your track is, or just how your setups are, to where that's not really important anymore. I feel like, not that I'm a snowboarder, but I do go snowboarding. But I was just noticing these guys are so good, but they're not even really riding their board to their full potential because they're so worried about the air. It's not about riding anymore, almost.
Well, if you look at freestyle motocross with the airbags now, it's like everything's airbags and this and that, and it's like I don't know.
So that's another thing. What about the one jump show, the freestyle? I think it was the first one ever, the first freestyle out there in Vegas.
Oh, yeah. That was all created because of our snowboard world, and the whole thing we like is basically the finish line jump. But
that was Dana and
Lofty or something.
Jordan Lofty.
Hey,
Lofty,
Nate, what about this? What about 2 years? What about when we bring Pastrana out to Beaumont and you show up and you're hitting 120, 30, 50 foot freaking knoll with Pastrana's ass, dude? You're going huge. Remember that?
That was the day I quit. I almost crossed up and locked up and almost died that day.
Dude, that was huge.
I remember I hit a jump and it was 250, CR 250 pin, 5th gear. I landed in the squirrel holes, and I remember just going, and my one hand coming off, and then grabbing and just making it and going, oh my God. If I would have crashed, I would have died right there.
I'm pretty
you were pretty hardcore, Nathan, into the motorcycle stuff. You even named the Metal Militia, right?
Oh yeah, but that was all interesting too. But it was
a whole
a time.
chapter.
Yeah, I mean that was.
Well, he was out there riding.
Larry. Yeah.
That was like with Palmer, even like at Rob Morrow's race. I remember Morrow would have a race, and Jamie Lynn rode motorcycles. Hetzel, Brett Johnson, Zotto, Dana, Damien, all of them. And then it was.
Hey, Maestro, go to Crusty 3.
Go, Maestro.
0850.
Oh yeah, I think we filmed that, didn't we?
Yeah, the jump that you're talking about, Nathan.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen it, and I saw it one time.
Uh-huh.
You had to be pretty heavy to be in Crusty.
Yeah, that was Crusty 3 when we.
Yeah, but you started it. We're just
you came
following
out with
really.
us to Beaumont.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's that?
So Maestro Crusty 3, there we go. It's coming up right after Pocoroba each. There's Pastrana, probably Mickey Diamond. Is that you right there, Nate? There you go. There's the big dog. That's good, Maestro.
Yes, scroll it back to that last jump if you could, Maestro.
But at those times, nobody ever did what they had done now. So it's like going 100 feet was big. It was.
Yeah.
How about jumping into the Coliseum through the arches, Nathan?
Yeah, that was a big joke. All the motocrossers laughed, but it was a
Is
good
that
time.
you right there, Nate?
I think so. I might have been the second one, actually. But
Let's
Mickey
pause
Diamond
Nate in the air right there. There you go.
Mickey Diamond was what a rad dude, and
huh?
hang with him, and he was the first one that I ever saw. He came to Larry's house with that multi-dimensional jump that went both ways, and that was the first jump that anybody had that was multi-directional. Yeah. And for him being like a national champion or Supercross, but how good his riding skills were, it was like he was next level, and he was just so cool.
Well, he can see the vision. Like when we used to go snowboarding, like say when we would go to Mount Rose, we would look at the terrain and we would figure out jumps. That's one thing I think when we came into motorcycles, like motocrossers didn't like read the terrain. Like that jump right there, that would have been a sick snowboard jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was the funny thing about motocross at the time. It was very straight. Nobody was looking at anything on angles or hips or really transition orientated because they were raised on racetracks compared to skating and snowboarding, and that was, you guys really helped influence that whole thing, I feel like. And then digging kickers out in the mountains, and then with Seth going into the dunes when you guys hit that jump. When I remember seeing you guys at the trade show right after, and you're like, "Oh, look at my boy! He was on his way out. Look at what he did." And then, right?
He thought it was a good idea to be in fifth gear.
Yeah, and I remember but I was like, "Holy!" I could not believe what he did right there, and that really launched him into a whole new level as Seth.
Yeah,
yeah.
But that was on your guys' way out, right, from wherever you lived on the east. You guys were.
We were going to Mammoth for the Mammoth Border Cross dirt bike race. Remember when they used to do the border?
Oh yeah,
that deal.
We were there. I was there.
Seth had never seen the sand dunes, so I figured he fell asleep in the van. So I'm like, well, fuck, this motherfucker's gonna wake up in the sand dunes. I figured I'd give him a treat, you know. And yeah, he took it all wrong. He went wide open.
That was insane.
Yeah,
that changed motorcycle jumping, though. You know, that changed things.
Yeah, a little bit.
And
a lot of hang time, huh?
Yeah.
And like you, Herbie, you always hung on
tour
to that jet ski, and that was Seth always thought, you know, at least I'm not going to let go of this thing, because a lot of people throw, right, Nathan? They throw their bike when they're in trouble.
Yeah. Nobody had seen anything like that.
Seth just goes, you know what? I got suspension. I'm just going to use it. So.
Okay, well,
suck it up.
I got one. Let's go this way. Like Seth's ridiculous, and that was like nobody's ever seen anything like that. But now, years later, Nathan, when all of a sudden we see you out there on some like 5-story wave, like you already knew what you were doing. You did that on purpose. Let's talk about that whole deal, because that compares to the Seth thing. That compares to your pops. That compares to Crusty.
Maestro, why don't we go to?
I think that's one step above.
I mean, that compares. Yeah, it's like that's like I told my wife. I'm like, holy fuck! Look at little Nathan. Like, you know, from back when, you know, you remember meeting.
Well, I got phone calls at my desk from the boats out there saying, "You just can't believe what your kid just did." And I'm just trying to think. I mean, he's just down there surfing, right? What the hell?
Yeah.
And, they were calling me this. You know, I was getting phone calls. Just, you can't believe it. You can't. And then when I saw it, wow!
Right?
Hey, Maestro, we can go there. Go to the Nathan folder, number 2.
Yeah, Nathan tried to break the internet with that one.
Yeah, there was you know what? 8 covers around the world in 1 month.
Awesome,
sick.
I think it might have been more.
No, it was 8. I think it just was a long time coming, is all, you know.
Low sea level.
To go around whatever time, 8 o'clock. Saw Slater on the side of the road. Pulled over and talked to him. Well, what do you think's going to happen out there today? He's all, I think somebody's going to catch the biggest wave ever today out there. Pretty much scared right then for whoever that's going to be. Panicking because now it's like I can see waves and it's good. And I'm like, cool. I said, oh, you know what? If Strider lets me use a ski, I'll whip you into something. You know, you want this one? I was all, yeah, you know. You know, everybody wants to go gnarly enough to work. Nobody really wanted to go flip me in, and then at the bottom, when you come down to the bottom, all you see, or all I saw was, the trough coming down and then going up, and then the boats were, I didn't think I was going to make it half as far as I did. He was like, no, and then Kobe is all like, go. It felt like I was lower than everything is what it felt like. I think that I was down in a hole and trying to get up and over there. I just got to make them. That's all I got to do is just kick out, because that's what I'm all about, kicking out in big waves. I don't even care if I get barrel, whatever, as long as you kick out, because the more beating you take, is the less big waves you're going to ride. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like the boats disappeared because the waves sucking. And I remember just going through it, and then getting kind of whatever, little white water coming by. And then I was just like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And then I was like laying back on the foam ball, and then that's when I could just kind of see the boats again. So that's when I was laying back and looking up.
Right there's the spot.
I'm not making it right now. This is the worst position you could ever be in. So I got rattled, and I was so surprised, and I told this to everybody, but it didn't seem that bad, because I was trying to keep my bearings, but I couldn't even believe that I came up.
Where'd he go?
Yeah.
I
thought I was dead.
I think I was just not coming up, and so all of a sudden, boom, I came up, and I was like checking everything. I was like, I'm all right. And I can't believe I'm already breathing air, because I figured I'd just be down there. And whatever people got to me, they got to me. I was like, whoa, that wasn't that bad, because I'm alive.
You can play that other one.
Didn't even look real. Has there been a wave that big since, Nathan?
Oh yeah, I think so. There's probably different ones, but Koa's was really big. He just fell off. Anybody who's got it's kind of whatever, but nobody's really made it that far from that deep is the thing, and so I think there's maybe been 2 other waves. They had another swell that got that big, but only a few people caught waves. But there's a photo that Brian Beelman has taken, and the photo really is, nobody's got a photo like it, and yeah, I don't know, you guys don't have the photo, but anyways, it's
hey Maestro, play the other one that we have.
That was insane.
Somebody shot super slow motion of that one.
That's what I was going to tell you. There's phantom camera footage from it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and play that, Maestro. So it's going to be super slow. So Nathan, maybe describe like what it feels like to get towed into something like that. This
one you can see it more. But yeah, it was Makua whipped me in, and this was only a second wave of the day, but really you don't know what it's like because you can't see the whole thing, and I just thought it was one like everybody else. But right there, it's a struggle. The whole way I was struggling. It felt like the water wanted to suck me up and over, and then right here it was just, I don't know, it was surreal to be honest. And then at the moment, right,
came through that little pocket.
Yeah. And then I had no weight on my board, so what I was trying to do was, because it was trying to suck me up, was reset and get back down to set a new line.
Just air it in?
And then right there, I just thought I was going to die. And so, because I was like, make it, just got to make it. And then I didn't make it, right? And so that's what I was saying in that other video is once I realized I wasn't making it, I was like, okay, my life's been good. I went through a lot of tragedy right before that had happened.
Mm-hmm.
With my friend Sion Molosky drowning at Mavericks with us, or with me, and me finding him, and then Andy Iron passing away when me and Sion surfed Mavericks a couple months prior to that. And those 2 people I was real close to, and with Sion I was with him and found him, and so really I hadn't really done much, and so that was me and Bruce. We were together for all that, but that was kind of like a heaven sent session, because Bruce caught a couple waves and ate it just as bad almost, and for some reason the wave came to me. That wave was just bigger than every other wave, and I got lucky to ride it as far as I did. But it was just one of those things where if you would have tried to have gone and done it, you would have never done it. It wouldn't have come to you, and it was just kind of heaven sent after all the tragedy I'd been through. And I guess it was just my turn because I'd been really pursuing a lot of big waves and all these sessions in the years past. Like I would say in the past like 6 years, maybe 8 years prior to that, it was like every big wave session. And I was really working on the equipment and the design of the boards and the fins and the life vests and all these different things. And other people were doing the same thing. And then we were just starting to surf like Jaws, because the first session at Jaws was right before that, the first paddle session where it wasn't with jet skis, and things were just changing. And throughout the days, it's Mother Nature, so you can't really pick if you're going to ride the best wave or what wave you're going to get throughout the day. You can get out there, sometimes not catch a wave, sometimes get a good one, sometimes get okay ones, but in the end, it's up to Mother Nature what you get and how your day goes. It's not like you can go set up a kicker and look at it and ride around and check the landing and everything. It's like when just that one set comes, you just so happen to be in the spot and turn around and go, and then it morphs into whatever it's going to morph into. And you ride it. It's just it's one of those things. It's like a wild ride. It's kind of almost like I would compare it to like racing in Baja, and having a cow walk into your, you never know what's in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you just pick and go, but you don't know what the outcome's going to be. And in the end, the one photograph that Beelman got, I look at and I'm like, man, I just can't even believe that was me that, in that day. But in the end, it was like I did a lot of things in my life and, pushed the limits, did a lot of stuff, and never really had a glory moment where it was like something that defined who I was or who I am and what I put into something. And so it was just time that like I needed, I guess, to solidify, like, oh, people were like, oh, you did something, where all the sessions and all the build up to those moments were in surfing and big waves. You don't really get to see it. And especially, people don't go out with you and have it all documented. It's not like that. It's, for a lot of the time before that, you would just go out and do it on your own, paddle to the outer reefs and go disappear, and then put yourself in these life-threatening situations that nobody really knows about. And so it was kind of like a lifetime achievement award, I guess. And then because they were having the finals the next day of the contest and they had held off the finals that day, all the media was there. So normally it wouldn't have got as much coverage, but because the WSL was on hold that day for the finals, all of their photographers and all the media channels were all there to cover the WSL. So somehow it just all worked in my favor.
You were the story.
Yeah, I survived too, which
life and death.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. So
he lived.
Yeah, and now we get to talk about it, and that's one thing too. Is like now that I have kids and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, Dad, are you going to do this or that?" And I kind of like tell myself, well, is it going to be like I'll never be able to do that, And so it was kind of a pinnacle of all things in my life, in my career, and the pinnacle of gnarliness for me. And it was kind of unintended, but it was a long time coming and a lot of work to get there to have it all work in my favor like that.
Some little bird
be forgotten either.
Some little bird told me in my ear that you wanted to drop out of a helicopter onto Mavericks.
Yeah, no, I did that in the movie, but it was
Did
just
you do it?
Yeah, I did that. And to be honest, that was super fun. And it was there's a movie called Heavy Water that's a documentary on my life or whatever in big waves, and I did that, and that's what Red Bull put in for the budget to make the movie. But
okay.
The story is about catching that wave and the people dying and the whole deal. Jumping out of the helicopter was fun. It reminded me of Alaska, to be honest. Over here in the wind and in the waves and the rain and stuff, and this pilot was incredible. He was like coming down, 15-foot surf backwards, like looking at the wave, boom, and then go to forwards and pulling over the back. Like his name was Kai Akili, but we were surfing in the helicopter, and it was kind of one of the funner things I got to do was just hang out on the skid with my board and like chase waves down. And I just felt like you could jump into a wave, but with all the cameras, there were 7 or I don't know how many angles with the GoPros, but there's at least like, 7 major rigs, land rigs, guys on jet skis, cameras in the helicopter, and then they had the insurance. So I didn't get to practice it or do it more than a couple tries, and so it took us 7 hours. I think it was an hour for each try because I would do it, and then I'd have to get on a ski, go to the beach, get a cart to the helipad, and then fly out. And by the time you do one try, it took an hour, so I got to do it 7 tries.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as high as I would had imagined in my brain, but I wasn't putting into my head like all the logistics and like the insurance. I think it was like a $250,000 day between the cameras and the insurance and dealing with the FAA and stuff. And so
you're not supposed to ask, Nate. You're not supposed to ask permission. You just
me and Dana just did.
Yeah, we don't ask.
For different times, and so. But in my head, I was thinking you could be 20 feet high like Danny Way when he jumped into the thing at the Hard Rock.
Appreciate that, yeah.
But when you're in the wind and the offshore spray on a 20-foot swell, it's a little different. And so I was probably like 6 feet above the wave when I stepped off into the wave.
Yeah.
And I made it, but my fantasy was like going big into a big wave, and that's. But it would take more than one day to do it, more flight time and all that. So.
Well, you gave it a shot.
Yeah, you can watch Heavy Water's good. It was a good movie. Yes.
Heavy Water.
Did you ever see the self-portrait that what's his name? Mikey Bassett.
Did you ever see Mike Bassett?
Yeah, Mikey Bassett jumped out of a helicopter in Alaska.
I saw that, but that was like 200 feet.
Well, he thought he was. He thought he was lower than he was.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
He put the camera in the snow and went up by himself and had a remote. And like you're saying, you thought you were higher. He thought he was lower. And dude, that was the hugest fucking jump ever for
the photograph of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Mikey Bassett took his own photograph. He didn't have a camera crew.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, he took that photograph himself. Yeah. And the video that's on the ground, pushed the button for that and then jumped.
Yeah, see, I thought I saw it from a far angle where you could see the helicopter and him.
Yeah.
But so that was my theory too, to go big. Like I felt like Danny Way is, that's another person we snowboarded with, and I'm sure you guys did too.
Yeah. And motocross.
And that was kind of his recipe, where it was like he was riding motorcycles, snowboarding. He was the first person I saw do a McTwist on a snowboard up the pipe at Snow Summit. He corked it, alley-oop. But, like him having all these things, and then he got to the Hard Rock and jumped out of the helicopter, and that's how he got to, like, make the mega ramp, And so it was by all these steps. And so in my head, I was thinking, oh, that's what you got to do. You got to go bigger. You got to jump out of a helicopter. And that's going to help these other guys like create something to even go bigger,
Yeah.
But just through progression, yeah. But surfing's different.
Hey, let's go to Creatures of Habit, Maestro. 3405.
The good old days.
The good old days.
Yeah, right about there. Somewhere there, because it's coming up. Yeah, all the things we used to do.
We used to like breaking things, I guess.
That's how you start your trip right there. So there's Christian.
Oh.
There's
Rambo.
Grammy. Good old Zob. So these are just clips out of like one of the Creatures of Habit movies that I used to edit down at Herbie's place, Astrodeck.
Yeah, you were the only guy I let in there to edit, really.
I think it was midnight to 8 in the morning, Herb.
Well, you were pretty cool and respectful, and also would turn me on to footage,
I think that was the thing. I would hang out with Christian and Nathan, and yeah. we'd either trade footage or, oh, there's your brother, Nate.
Yeah.
I know where that is. That's
that was me right
that was
there.
Point Doom. There's Nate right there.
Oh.
Nate.
Yeah.
Christian.
Maddie Goodman. We can't forget Maddie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good old Maddie. There's Mikey B.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mikey.
Yeah, Brett Johnson there. Dana. There you go.
Oh yeah. Can't leave me out.
Truck.
Crazy.
There's Christian just airing over somebody.
Hetzel.
Heads. Yeah. Yeah, back in the day, it was like, there's Zabo. That was cool. That was a cool trip right there.
Yeah.
Zob. Yeah, there's Zabo.
You know, that was a real jump right
Quarter
there.
pipe. Yeah.
Like we used to make
I
real
think
jump.
that's you, Dana, right there.
Yeah.
There's Damien. That's all Alaska. Rocket Reeves.
Hey, you guys been drinking tonight?
Randall.
That's him. That's good enough. There's the boys.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows us a cool little look at, like, back in the day of creatures of habit. And gosh, Nathan, you were like, I don't know, about that big. Maybe down here.
With the long hair.
With the long, blonde hair, little toe head.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just kind of go wherever we went. Your brother, I don't know, about then was what, like 20, 21? So you were just behind him 5 years? Something like that. Yeah.
I was hanging on like a pilot fish.
Yeah. One of those little sucker fish that hang on a shark?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like right there.
Hey, well, that's the best. You always hung out.
I wouldn't trade those times for anything. It was right in the beginning of all the fun stuff before the Olympics and before everybody conformed to do things a certain way. It was
before like we knew that there was actual rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the soul of it, man. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
It isn't like it is now.
But even going snowboarding, like we'd go up to local mountains and it would be like Hosoi, Dave Duncan, Victor Coyne, I don't know, like a couple snowboarders, a couple skaters, and everybody was all working out and just smash stuff and snow blowers, and then
it was like a gang.
Yeah,
it was like a gang going down the mountains.
So they built like a snowboard park. Like, we gotta segregate you guys.
Yeah. You guys all slide sideways and get in the way of our skis, you know?
And then Steve Graham sliding the banister or whatever down the steps.
The rail?
Yeah. They were all pissed off.
Yeah, and then everybody started doing it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
they had to make snowboard parks and stuff.
Yeah, we used to go to the school grounds in like Park City, Utah after a big dump, so that it had snow all over there, and we'd go up there with Bassett, Hetzel, Tina Bassett, and we'd do those rails all the time. They'd eat shit or do a good one or whatever, but no matter what, it all made the movie. So
I went to that rail. I don't know what it was, but man.
At a schoolyard?
It was that weird flat rail where he'd come down the berm and then it was the rail went out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
and Utah special
on that thing.
Yeah, Utah special.
Yeah, that was a Utah special right there. Well,
yeah.
Well, I think we definitely changed a lot of shit from jet skiing, surfing, moto, and snowboarding. Like you couldn't relive the shit that we've done back in the day. You know what I mean? Like fucking our snowboard graphics nowadays. If you're a pro, you gotta have unicorns and shit on your snowboard graphics. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I ain't going there.
Well, I'm just saying. Like, you know what I mean? You go to the ski resort now. You got to worry about like figuring out what bathroom to go in. You know, got to be careful. You don't do the wrong shit nowadays.
Well, we would go to Snow Valley and get our free tickets and then sell them in the parking lot. Then we would go up to Bear Mountain or Snow Summit. We'd get our free tickets, go in the parking lot and sell them. Then we'd hit Bear Mountain, get our free tickets, and by that time it was like 12 or 1. We'd sell our tickets, and then we'd clip tickets in the parking lot and go. So we'd make like $150 just to go snowboard on occasion.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you knew everybody, Nathan.
Now
You had
you
all
can't
the
do that kind
connection.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing about it.
And
Yeah,
making
I
creatures
Got on the
habit,
mountain
I
for
had to-
free.
They get facial recognition for your season pass and shit. Like, you can't, like, there is no more easy way to do it. I guess if you get the icon.
Yeah, I remember back in the day they used to try to.
If you were a teenager now, figuring it out, sleeping in your car and whatever at the mountain.
Oh, we did that quite a bit, Herbie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Yeah,
going to the marketing department, like at Snowbird or Mammoth or whatever, and I'm trying to convince them that they need to be in my film. And we're gonna, represent your mountain. But I got, 8 guys outside going, Freeman, what are you just lagging it up, bro? Come on. Where's our tickets? These guys are gonna hit the lift before we go. Yeah.
Dude, back in the day, like Damien and I, we used to swing passes for all these mountains, and then after you become the retired snowboarder, want to take the family up snowboarding, and you go to buy the tickets, it's like for your 2 kids and your chick, you're like, are you kidding me? It's like
it's $200 a day now at Mammoth.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like,
holy shit!
And that's a person. That's like one person or something.
One person.
Shit, right? That's just.
Wow.
I can't even fathom that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why I shot film was so and videos so I could get on the mountain for free and take all the kids and all the friends.
Right?
You did that, John, right? Worked with the marketing companies?
That's what I did, and thank God for like Mammoth, the McCoy family.
Yeah.
They took care of me. No problem. I never paid ever for Mammoth, Snowbird. What was it, Nathan? $25 token for the heli in Valdez.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, me and my 4 friends are gonna go up. So okay, that's or 3 friends, whatever. So that's $100. Boom. Ride of a lifetime.
You guys, between you and Dana, though, you guys really changed a lot and crossed over from snowboarding into the motocross thing right at that one time. And it was so crucial. And it was amazing, like, what that, transcended into and how many people jumped on the bandwagon from motocrossers to, racers and snowboarders and everything. But
we kind of hit it right at the right
time.
Yeah, you changed it, John.
And the window was open.
You got it out there.
The window was fucking open at the right time. You know what I mean?
Well, as filmmakers, Herbie, that's what we can do.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it. Nathan loves it. I know.
I love it. I was
Dana, you've been in there, hanging in there with John forever.
Yeah, dog. We're changing the world. We're changing it. Well, you're the one back in the day that started all this film shit and doing stupid shit with stupid vehicles and surfboards and.
You gave us ideas, Herbie.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make a promo video and I got hooked. But, I was in front of the camera before that.
Yeah.
Surfing when I was a teenager.
Your main guy back then was Brian Beelman, right?
No, Brian Blake filmed. Greg Weaver, Spider Wells
Brian
was
Blake,
before that. Brian was basically an editor, but he was a good cameraman as well.
Yeah.
Now he's a realtor over by your area. I think in somewhere in Malibu or Pacific Palisades.
Yeah, he lives up Pacific Palisades. He's not doing it anymore, but he's still surfing, I think. And
who else does that? Alan Sarlo, if he's still around, he was big realtor for Malibu.
He's still around. Every time I go to Malibu, I see him.
Uh-huh.
I'm just waiting for the big swell to come.
Yeah, he's here. He's in Tahiti. He's all over surfing. He's on it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, hey,
The
Johnny,
wave killer.
it's coming on 420. So, do you got any more stuff like for today that we got a must see?
Well, I was gonna, if we wanted to, I was gonna show kind of Herbie's thing about starting Astrodeck. I think it's like 2 minutes.
Let's see it. I got 10 more minutes.
Okay. Hey, Maestro, that's on Herbie's thing, and I think it's the last one in his folder.
All right.
Number 3, I believe.
Oh, I got a folder?
You got a folder, Herbie.
420.
Unreal. I couldn't believe some of the footage I've seen. It did bring me back.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the good old days.
Oh, here we go up the stairs.
So there was always a deal about traction.
I was 16 here, side slipping at pipeline on a 32-pound
wax research.
Phil Edwards board.
So we were pouring.
Nice.
Pouring.
That's a Julian Schnabel sort of.
Sand the texture in it. We drop salt in it, give like a rock salt finish, and then sand it out and wash the salt out. We stuck it on the tails. They knew it worked. Jerry Lopez, it worked. They knew it worked. I knew it worked. So I tried to get it out there to all the surf shops so all the kids would have better traction. Because I was always a skateboarder and going to skate parks, and with my kids and everything who surfed really good, I started putting kicks in the tail. And so we just kept on working with it, made hooks. Christian and I, we worked on the aerial revolution.
Yeah, Herbie, when you skated, you probably won't use that pizza deck. Remember that pizza grip?
And there.
Oh yeah, I got a pizza deck in the back, the heavy grip. But I made some pizza grip out of rubber.
Oh shit, that stuff was gnarly back in the day.
All the best in the world are out there, and they're going to let you have a wave. You got to get it. You got to take it. You can't just. Oh yeah, you're going to have this wave. You got to fight for everything out there, man, and you're only going to get scraps. And he's going, no, I want this little thing because I want to do this, that. I go, that's great. So why don't you make your board, and then I'll make this board for you, and we'll see which one you ride. Nathan was just so into it because he watched Christian do all these things, and he had to keep up with him. And Nathan would, he was right in there designing and right on Christian's heels, just 4.5 years younger. But, that was his older brother, and he looked up to him and all he did. And Nathan did it all, but he wanted to be able to turn like Tommy Carroll. His older brother was Christian.
On the rail.
Where's Christian? What's Christian doing? So Nathan had to be his own guy. All the best riders in the world have ridden Astrodeck at one time or another, and the only reason they leave it is because somebody pays them. It's never left San Clemente. It's probably never going to leave San Clemente. This is home.
This looks sick right here. Watch this wave.
That's the classic move, Herb. That back arch. Nice. Right into the tube. Yeah. There it is. That's the Herbie Fletcher. That was cool.
Oh, footage
provided by Ruka.
Yeah, that was mine.
They got to throw.
I guess they got it out there on a show.
They threw a tag in for you.
Yeah. So that brings back some memories for you, Herb.
Yeah, a lot of memories.
Yeah. 16 years old.
Excuse me. Yeah, I used to live in the bushes at Sunset when that first shot was taken.
Yeah.
Because I was too young to find a place to live, and we'd live in the bushes or in cars or vacant houses. And it took about 2.5 hours or, over 2 hours to drive from town. So the town guys wouldn't come out to go surfing after work or whatever, after school.
Yeah.
And so we had it pretty much on all week, and then you'd see guys on the weekend.
Uh-huh.
So it was Tiger Aspera and me. Tiger lived up the street, and then some of the old guys.
Yeah. How'd you end up meeting Jerry Lopez?
I don't know. I think I met him at the beach.
At the beach, just surfing out there?
At Sunset, yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, you met all the guys, at the beach. And then you got to know them at the beach and then hang out and see them later on and do things,
Yeah.
Make surfboards, all kinds of talk surfing.
Same way we know you guys.
Hey, Herbie, back in the day,
Exactly.
Back in the day, was Sonny Miller like a part of that South County fixture? Because I mean, that was like really snowboarding. Sonny was like one of our very first outlets to film and photos and things like that. But to kind of your side of town in the surfing.
Yeah, I met Sonny. We were snowboarding, I think, and we were riding Nectars.
No,
Remember
we
those
showed
things?
up. We showed up that day to the Varney Vertical Air Show, and him and John Glom. I forget if that's the day that you met him, but that was the day I met him. And it was John Glom and maybe Gary McNabb and Sonny Miller, and they had this little 7-ply snowboard, this purple snowboard, and so Sonny let me borrow a snowboard for the day.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I met him snowboarding.
Yeah, no, I knew him for years before the Varney Air Show, and like even when the early days of like Avalanche and all that stuff. And he was the guy that always would, no matter what, we would have cameras on our boards and crazy fucking camera mounts, and just he would always have some weird ass camera rig, you know what I mean, going on.
Well, he was always around, and he was always happy to share and help out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I really like Sonny. He was a good guy. He'd always help. He'd explain different things to you on the camera, because I started shooting video and I didn't know shit on video cameras.
Uh-huh.
I knew film cameras, but not the still camera.
Yeah, well,
I remember.
Not the video camera.
I remember one time, and I think Nathan, you were there, and probably Christian, but it was me, Dana, Brett Johnson, probably Hetzel, maybe Mike Bassage, and we all went up on the gondola. And Herbie, you were with Jerry Lopez and Derek Dorner, and we got off that gondola at the top of Mammoth, and it's wisping, the wind and everything's kind of chilly and, kind of icy, but it was after like a big dump, so there was powder. So we wanted to go off a cliff in front of the gondola right there, and you guys crawled up to the edge, and you all said,
"Dude,
fuck that."
Dude, you just gave me the chills, Free Dog. I remember that.
Yeah, you remember that?
No, because it was the cornice, and it was super fucking windy, and I remember it was sunny, and I fucking pinned it from the fucking gondola straight off the thing, and when I went off, the wind was pushing up so hard that my board, I wasn't going down. I started going out, but it was the most weirdest feeling I've ever felt in my life as snowboarding. I thought I was just going to fly away to the fucking lodge.
It's like same in surfing, and Nathan and Herbie could tell you when it's offshore winds. It just feels like you're not going down.
Dude, I remember that, dude, and it's
you got to push down.
I wasn't going down, and granted, I fucking can guarantee you, I ate fucking shit because I still remember that scaring the fuck out of me.
I think that's in the movie.
I went around the side and watched from the sidelines.
That's right. You guys went around the side.
You guys were there, though. You guys remember that?
I think you landed on a boulder, like on an avalanche rock or some shit.
I got fucked on there.
Yeah, that was pretty rocky.
I know who ate it the worst was Brett Johnson, because that made the movie. He was just up in the air, and I think he's the one that maybe you're talking about, Nate. He landed right into the rocks.
Yeah, it was like the avalanche boulder things.
Yeah.
Avalanche
kind of
like
stuff.
debris.
Yeah, those are the good old days, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Now you would at least.
I think we were all just getting into snowboarding back then. That was kind of early days.
Well, not me. Fucking.
No, you were already there.
You were a pro, bro.
Yeah, I was a pro with my neon fucking headband, dog. Don't kid.
Yeah, that was great.
We had the neon headband. We had the sticker, the Astrodeck. We had it all going on.
Yeah, fluorescent.
Fluorescent Astrodeck.
Right? You know it. Fucking awesome. Well, dude, I'm stoked that you guys came on here, man. It's been a long time. I've been looking forward to, we've been talking about the documentary we want to do, and been looking forward to getting a chance to talk to you and Nate.
Yeah, it's good to see you, Dana.
Yeah.
How's Damien doing?
Damien's good, man. He's just killing it. And the funny thing is his daughter is all into horse racing or horse jumping now. So I see him here at the like the horse track doing his thing. And Damien, he gets all super into whatever he's doing. But it's like anything, like the kids start growing up and they just turn into the
Well, he was one of the best, so you expect it out of their kids, right?
Oh yeah,
of course.
Yeah. Well, like I was gonna say earlier, like Nathan was saying about that whole big wave surfing and stuff. I was gonna say about well, what about when your kids get older? And it's like you might find yourself right back out there cheering on your own kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, towing them in.
Yeah, riding the jet ski with the hole in it, going, "What the fuck? How'd I get here?"
Yeah.
Hey, well, the jet ski really gave an opening to all the outer reefs and all getting around and see what they're doing. It's fantastic. I love it.
Hey, Dana, show Herbie what you did with a tripod.
Me?
Your teeth.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was a tripod accident?
You got to get them bolted in like me.
I busted all my teeth out with my CR500, and I was all stoked I got them fixed, and then I busted them out again with a tripod. That was my latest one. It's always something, Herb,
Oh, boy, do I know.
Hey, did you blow yours out too, Nathan?
Hell yeah.
I got fucking 40 broken bones, at least. But the ripped muscles are the one that hurts, and the ligament.
Oh, goddamn. I did my tib and fib, and that one's enough to slow me down. But now...
And road rash. That hurts.
Road rash.
Yeah, motorcycles, I always went to the hospital on them. Lopez would pick me up.
Yeah.
Out of a ditch or somewhere, out of a hole.
Yeah.
I didn't make the turn.
Yeah. Yeah, road rash sucks. You wake up the next morning stuck to your sheets.
Yeah, that's why I jet skied. It was a softer landing.
Hey, I'll tell you what, I'm staying out of the water. I suck in water. They tried to kill my ass fucking bungee jumping Herb in a shopping cart. I didn't want to explain that one, but I'm staying out of the water.
Well, you're hanging out with John Freeman. And you're the stunt man.
We sold more tickets.
Hey, you go, I'll take the picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Too many stupid ideas on our side.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for having
Okay,
us.
Hey,
aloha,
good to
everybody.
Good to see you. It's been a while.
Thanks for all you guys do. Keep it up.
Yep.
Stay
Awesome.
in touch. Stay radical.
Nathan, love you.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Yeah, love you too, Dad. Later.
All right. Hey,
Signing
thanks
off.
for coming on, guys. You guys rock and roll. Appreciate it.
Mahalo, guys.
All right, John, Dana.
Jason.
Mahalo. Thank you. Mahalo indeed.
Mahalo.
All of you.
Peace
And
out.
Maestro.
Yes. Yay. All right, Herbie. Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank you.
All right,
your
Maestro.
pleasure.
It was a good session, guys.
Absolutely.
Yep. And
All right, Herb.
Herb. Thank you, guys. And say hi to Christian for us.
We will.
Yeah.
Excellent. Beautiful.
See you guys.
Until next time. Thank you,
All
Herbie. John, take it away with a little closing remarks here, guest.
Yeah, you ought to get Christian on this someday.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
when
get
he comes
Christian
back
back
from
on
the
here. We'll
Philippines.
do another part. There's so much to talk about. And yeah, I just want to thank our guests, Herbie Fletcher and Nathan Fletcher, for being on today. And thanks for watching The Vault of Chaos.
At vaultofchaos.com. Oh, here we go. Let's do
Take
it.
care.
Beautiful. Until next time.
Okay. Are we off the air now?
Yes, we are almost off the air here, Herbie. Right after the video. Thanks again, Herbie. Really appreciate it.
Okay. See, that was the second to the longest, 1 hour and 35 minutes.
I know. John just kept on going, buddy. John just kept on going. Thank you.
All right. Later.
Appreciate it. Later. We'll see you. Bye.